Hello ladies and gentle ladies, welcome back to another Industria stream. Hello Agent Cryo, welcome to the stream. So yeah, today we're going to be doing some things with fluid tanks, a much needed thing that Industria has needed for quite a while. It's going to be much better once we finally have some fluid tanks. A lot of things are going to be easier to do. It's going to be so much easier to test things. So we're not just going to have a flat out plain old fluid tank though. We are going to go for some dynamic fluid tank. So we'll get into that today. But yeah, hello Wide, welcome to the stream. Hello Gogo, welcome to the stream. Yeah, let's basically, I think we can just get started. Let me just check few things. I need to kind of check what my current kind of thing is. Okay. Is it me or is the audio stuttering? It might be. Let me replay it. And I can... Sounds fine for me, I think. I'm just gonna keep speaking. Okay, yeah, it sounds fine. I think it's you, White. Yeah, it seems to be okay. I just said how to get energy without caffeine and top answer will sleep. Yeah, that would probably be correct. That's probably correct, yes. So yeah, let's just get started. Let's go ahead and is the camera? Oh, the camera's already on. Let's take this off. And there we go. So yeah, so as for where we were last time, I don't really remember. I think we were doing something with the electrolyzer, and I think we pretty much got it finished. But yeah, I think we're going to do fluid tanks today because that's going to be very important for some things that we're going to do very soon. Now, what I have actually been doing since the previous stream is I've been trying to add a wood set thing, but I haven't been doing it in this repo here, so we're not going to have any of that in here today. And I'll probably come back to that at some point. That's not kind of going to be a stream thing for now. But yeah, I have actually been working on the mod, just not in here. So even though it will look like nothing has changed, things have changed. But yeah, let's do fluid tanks. So I don't really know how we're going to do this. Because I don't really know exactly how I want fluid tanks to work. I kind of am split between two things. Or three things, really. So I'm thinking there's basically two things I could do, right? If you think about it. So I could have it, so okay, either way I want like a dynamic fluid tank, right? So I want it, so you place one and you place one on top of it and it combines to be a big fluid tank, right? I think I want that either way, but my decision that I'm going to have to make is, do I want that to be so that it has to be a cuboid, or do I want it to be so that it can be any shape possible? I think that's going to be the big question. Because yeah, that's what it's going to depend on. Now, I'm tempted to make them just cuboids, just because it's so incredibly much simpler. But I also don't really want them to be cuboids. The problem with them not being cuboids is that rendering will become a massive problem, right? Rendering will become like a really complicated thing, and I don't really want that. Whereas if it's just a cuboid, and yeah, and also like Y levels as well, like the actual level of the fluid, if it's not a cuboid, that could be quite complicated. But I think I'm gonna just stick with a cuboid for now. Maybe in the future I'll come back to something else, but and then the other thing is, do I want to just have like a single block fluid tank, right? Like I have with batteries. My intention with batteries was to make them just temporarily a single block and eventually move it to a multi-block, but I might not do that anymore. I might leave them as single blocks and then have a separate multi-block. What do you guys think? What would you prefer for these two scenarios? Should there be multi-block versions and then non-multi-block versions, or not? Oh, and to be clear, by the way, for anyone a little bit confused, they're not like going to be the normal multi-blocks that we've had thus far. They're going to be the build it yourself one, so that you can have any shape. But yeah, okay, let's do both. So okay, if we're doing both, then we are going to need to just go ahead and register a normal fluid tank. We'll get that kind of out of the way. I'm kind of concerned to edit any of this code in this class. It's going to cause conflicts, but well, there's not much I can do about that. So, well, yeah, there's not much I can do about that. So let's create a fluid tank block, which is going to be a fluid tank, and that is just going to equal to, nice and simple. But then let's come into here, get a new class, and I think are going to be able to extend Industria block. I don't think that should cause a problem, but we'll see. We need to pass down the block properties as usual, and we just need to do normal things. So this is going to be a normal kind of like full block, right? So it's not going to have anything too special. I don't want it to have an inventory, but it is going to have like a slot, but I think it's going more like a crafting table thing, so you can't like put maybe you should be able to. No, I'm probably not going to have it store item. It's just going to have a slot for item. I think that's reasonable. So we don't need to have it like drop items or have a comparator output, or it doesn't need to have a horizontal facing. It can have a renderer because it's going to need a renderer. Anything else? Pretty much that's going to be it. I mean, obviously we are going to have to do the block entity things, so we'll just do this via block entity type init dot fluid tank. And then what the block entity will actually do, so the block entity is going to have a right click to open GUI, and then it's also going to have a should tick, and that will be it for that. And this is basically, at least as far as I'm aware the entire block glass. Not really going to be anything too special. So let's just register that in here. How's your day been? My day has been pretty uneventful. Yeah, all I've really done today, I've just been working on trying to add a wood set, really. Ideally, trying to make it like a one-line thing, so I can just write, like, for example, public static final, I think it's like wood set something, and then I have like rubber is equal to a new wood set builder rubber, and then you have to pass in the sapling generator, like sapling generator init dot rubber, and then you just literally build it, and that will create an entire wood set. Is the idea, right? I've basically been trying to do that, which has been a lot of work. It's been quite a pain. I thought that was Lion's job. Kind of. He's going to be working more on like the rest of it, whereas I'm just going to add the wood set, and he's going to do basically everything. Is the idea. But like right now, he's not doing anything because he has uni work. So, and so do I, to be fair. Which I am going to have to lock in on very soon, so the streams will stop at some point for a few weeks. But yeah, we need this. We need this. What else do we need? We need. So it needs to be syncable, takeable all, and then it also needs the other thing, the this block entity with GUI. That's it. Block pod payload. And then we're going to implement the methods, and we're going to add the constructor. And we're going to put the type in here. So block entity type init dot fluid tank. This should fix that. Okay, we're going to want a title, so we'll go text title is equal Industria container title, and that'll be fluid tank. Why no memes channel in Discord? That is because the memes channel is just off topic. Off topic is for literally anything, pretty much. Like it's. I mean, just read the channel description. It tells you what it's for. It's pretty much just for anything, to be honest. But yeah, that's kind of the point of that channel. So what does we need here? We need a private final wrap. We'll do fluid storage first, and we'll do an inventory thing later, because there's not too many. So we'll have a wrapped inventory storage of a simple inventory. Oh no! What am I doing? Oh my god! I have inventories on my mind. There we go. Okay, so we'll start with that, and we'll do the inventory stuff later, because otherwise we're just going to overcomplicate everything. So let's add a new. Now let me just turn this down. In terms of what we're actually going to create here of the storage, it really needs to be an input or an output, because otherwise it is going to have the same problem as battery. And I think whoever suggested, I think it was Basti. Yeah, so Basti suggested that, like, for the batteries, I have it have like an input and output toggle. I think I want the same thing here. So I don't want to just create an input or an output storage, because it needs to be both, but not at the same time. I could make it a predicate. And then I think that allows me to have, yeah, that allows me to have can insert and can extract. So I think I'll do that. Now, in terms of the capacity, how much do you guys think a single fluid tank should store? I don't think it should just store one bucket, or should it? I'm not sure how I feel about it storing one bucket, but like it makes sense, but it also would just kind of make it useless, right? What I think I'll do is I'll go for maybe like 50 buckets or something, or like, does it need to be a multiple of 2? I'm just trying to think about mods that have fluid tanks and like, what do they measure their storage in? I don't know. I can't say that I've ever paid attention to that, because it's not typical that you're actually going to have a fluid tank. I mean, this wants me to add 16 buckets. So that might not be a terrible idea. Sure. Maybe this can be upgradable in the future or something. I don't know. I haven't really planned too far ahead, so. Now, we're going to have a private boolean. And this is going to be for whether it's insert or extract. We could actually have also a neither, but I don't know that that makes any. So I'll just have a boot. And I'm gonna say, what do I even want to call this? Is extract. Sure. I kind of hate that. Is extract mode. There we go. And then in here, we're just going to have a variant. And this is going to be not is extract mode. And then we're going to have variant is extract mode. Like that. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Now in here, actually before we do that, we'll create the method to actually get it. So we're going to create a public single fluid storage get fluid tank, and it's just going to return this not wrapped fluid storage, get storage, and then I'm also going to have a public. This actually needs to return a singing. So, and then I'm going to have a public single fluid storage get fluid provider, which is going to take in the direction, and then it's going to return it's wrapped fluid storage get storage direction, like that. And then actually what I'll do is I'll just do, there we go. Okay, let's do this real quick as well, just to get this done and dusted. And likewise with this, and then likewise with this. So this will just be a new fluid tank green handler, which is going to take in a sync ID, player inventory, this, and then this dot wrap inventory storage. Which we'll create real quick. Wrap inventory storage, a simple inventory wrapped inventory storage is equal to a new wrapped inventory. And we'll quickly add it. I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but it's just going to cause problems if I don't do this. So, we just want to add a normal inventory, to be honest. And this will be a... It will be a predicate simple inventory. Sure, it will be a predicate simple inventory. Kind of. So that's going to take in this, and then that's going to take in the actual predicate, which I don't remember where that is, I think. Here it is. So... Sure. Empty fluid predicate is fine. And then the fluid variant that it needs to match is going to be get fluid tank dot variant. And that would just make that check for that specific one. Can I put this here? And that just fixes that. Then we do need to do them in here. Oh, and actually I'll add those methods here as well. So public oh, speaking of, this also then needs to have a what is it? This. There we go. So then I can just do this. I think it needs that. It might not need that, but I'm going to do that anyway. Then we need a simple inventory. Get inventory provider. Which will just do... no, this is actually a storage. And then a public... inventory, get inventory, and that's not correct, so that needs to be this dot wrap inventory, get inventory 0. Okay, that will be both of those, and then we can just do those in hits. We can have thinking fluid storage, fluid tank, and then inventory. And then just pass in fluid tank and inventory. Now, I don't actually... Do I? I'm trying to think if I want the inventory to save or not. Probably not. And really, as soon as you close the menu... yeah, that's going to be a problem, isn't it? So in reality, the inventory needs to be solely in the green handler. So in that case, we actually don't want to wrap him, do we? So yeah, that makes things a little bit more complicated. So we don't want any of this, actually. We definitely don't want that, and we don't want that. Or that, or that. So that's just going to be... We can do the list thing, right? Singleton list. Hello 7410, welcome to the stream. Just do the quick thing in here. So if world is equal null or just a world is client, then we return. Get that done and dusted, and then we don't have to worry about that later. What I'm also going to do before I completely forget, because I probably will forget, is I'm going to create a method for isExtractMode so we can access that. And I also am going to want a public void set extract mode boolean extract mode. And I'm not going to fill that out right now, but we are going to want that too. Well, actually, I can fill this out because all that's going to do is do that and then update. Okay. Trying to think, do I want to have it like this, or do I want to just have it be like a switch extract mode kind of thing, and then just do that, and then not this dot is extract. Do I want this, or do I want the other way around? I think I'll have it the other way around because that just makes more sense, I guess. Then we're also going to want read MBT. Let's do that real quick. More importantly, we're going to want write MBT though. So let's do that one first. And then put fluid storage. Write MBT registers. Okay, then if it contains that, if it contains this of MET element dot list type, I guess I'll do here MET element dot bool. Does boolean not exist? Are booleans just are they a byte or something? They are. Okay, so we can just do a byte then. A little bit confusing, but sure. Also, I don't know why I need to compile that. That's kind of weird, but whatever. I also don't know why my run window is not. Sure. And then we just do that. Fine. Okay. It is indexing, so I'll give it a second. Yeah, so you can see it just looks for a byte. Since MET does not have a boolean type, MET byte is used instead. How weird. I don't know why they do that. For sure. We also need those two methods, which is to update packet, which is going to return block entity. Gone past it. This one. Create this, and then also the initial chunk data, which is going to be MET compound MBT. Then we're just going to do write. MBT registries and return MBT, which at some point I really need to move this into updatable block entity. I just haven't got around to doing that yet, but that's going to involve rewriting quite a few things. Well, not really, it will just involve removing a bunch of stuff, which I don't want to do right now. So okay, is that gonna be it? Trying to think, what else do we need? I think that's probably gonna be it. One thing I will do actually is this, and then I'm just going to say if it's not equal that, then update. Which actually I could just do. It's not equal that, and then I could just do that actually. Sure. Okay, perfect. I think that's pretty much it, other than obviously the tick logic. Now the tick logic is gonna be pretty simple, I think. All it needs to do is if this dot extract mode, then we're going to get the fluid storage, right? So the tank. If the tank, I don't know if I have an is empty method. If the tank resource is blank or tank dot amount is less than or equal to 0, and I'm just going to return. And then basically it needs to do this. So for each direction, we're going to get the storage. So we're going to do storage of fluid variant. Fluid storage is equal fluid storage dot sided dot find this dot world. Then it wants a pos, so we'll do this dot pos dot offset direction, and then direction dot get opposite. If the fluid storage is equal null, or the fluid storage does not support insertion, then we're just going to return, or we're not going to return, we'll continue. And then basically we're going to try and put as much in there as we can. So long max insert. Okay, fluid storage dot insert tank dot variant tank dot amount. Yeah, so we're gonna have to just run that in a transaction. Well, so we do try transaction is equal transaction dot open outer, and we'll do max insert is equal that, and pass in the transaction. How do we want to do this actually? We probably don't want to do it like that. We probably want like a map of direction to like a pair. This is a bit cringe actually, but basically we want a map of direction to a pair of a storage of fluid variant and a long. Which will be a new, sure, it can be a new enum map because the key is an enum. That's fine. Yeah, so then as long as max insert is greater than 0, then we put it in the storage. Sure. Why is this cringe? Because I'm putting a pair in a map, which you're not. You know, everyone always complains when you do that. I mean, it's fine to be honest, but like, I guess you're not really meant to do it. I don't know. How do we want to do this? Because we want to try and kind of like equally spread it, right? Or we want to give each one an equal fraction, but the fraction that we give it will depend on like how much we can give it, right? Like some might let us give an infinite amount, but we don't want to give it an infinite amount. We want to give it an amount that's relative to the other one. So we are going to want to do this and this and this and this. This is the max amount. What we actually probably want, I'm thinking, is a for-i loop. So let's do int index is equals 0. And then let's also do int size. Tank amount divided by size negative index. No. We want long total transferred, and we also want long total can transfer. I think I'm probably overcomplicating this, but we're just gonna go with it for now. Which is gonna be the min or the max? So we need to take the capacity, right? Which is gonna be tank dot, not the capacity, the amount. And then the sum of all the tanks, right? So storage is dot, this is actually really cringe, I hate this so much, but we can do map to long value is what, the entry, so then we can get the value and get right, and then we can sum it. Why doesn't it like this? Oh yes, that's a good point. I didn't think. Is this an MC song? I don't know, what song are you hearing? No, this is the weird lo-fi music that Minecraft does. Some pretty goofy stuff. Amount to transfer is f.min between total can transfer over size and maximum. Yeah, I think so. And then if it's less than 0, it continues, and then it tries to create a transaction. It tries to insert it. If it did it, then it does. Tank amount negative equal transferred. Total transferred plus e. Yeah, that's fine. And then what we want to do afterwards is we just want to do an update. We shouldn't need to do that because in theory the transaction should do that, but I have found that it hasn't seemed to do that every single time. So maybe I don't need this. Oh, it says this one's fine actually. Also doesn't use this, but That makes sense. Oh, yeah, actually, why have I done... I realize actually this doesn't make sense, does it? Well, they need... Yes, okay, so what this needs to be is this needs to be an entry of a storage to a long. Right, like this. And then I can do entry, get value. And that's obviously going to complain because storages isn't this. I just need that. It can't be an enum map anymore, but that's fine. Don't really matter. Nice. So basically that, and then all we have to do is say sum. Isn't like that. So values is going to be a collection of long, but I guess it doesn't know that it's a long, right? So is there a way to do this without doing this? I don't know. Possibly. Unless I can do like a long stream of no, you can't do that. That's kind of weird. Okay, sure. Hate that board. How has your week been? Why did it's Monday, you know? Wait, it is Monday, right? It is. Yeah, it is Monday. So my week has been the same as my day has been. That can go then, can't it? Why is this complaining? Alright, that's just that. I don't think this is the best code in the world, but this is probably gonna work, right? Your face cam is hiding what you're talking about. Oh, it is. I'm talking about this. Pretty sure you can see most of it. Probably do this, to be honest. You know, I actually can do that. I can completely hide that because, to be honest, I can just use double shift, right? For the most part. I mean, I'll have to open this like when I want to create a new class because I don't know like the shortcut. But yeah. And if you're not talking about this week wide, then my week was okay last week. It was a good week actually last week, a very good week. Start of the week was mid. Then towards the end of the week I went up to go see a friend. It was very good. Other than the trains being, you know, UK train moments. Apart from that, pretty good. Better than the average week. I can say that for certainty. But yeah. Not bad. Am I missing something here? I feel like I need to do something after this for loop, but I'm, to be honest, not sure what. I think it's probably fine. I'm not really happy with this code. I feel like I'm very much overcomplicating it, but well, we'll see. Okay. Are we done? I think for the most part, we're going to be done here. So let's create this class, shall we? So this is going to be in handler. YouTube filtered your message. I will have a look. It is not showing up for me. So that means it has somehow actually filtered it before it even lets me moderate it. Because yeah, there is no message on here from you. So play inventory. Yeah, this is fine. So we'll pass in the sync ID. Actually, yeah, that's gonna be fine. So sync ID, player inventory, and what we do need as well is screen handler type init dot fluid tank, like that. Now I'm not going to be using Industria screen handler for this because that I think requires that you have an inventory, I think. And the way we're going to be doing inventories isn't going to be like that. I said that you can use function dot identity of value arrow value. I'm not sure what you mean. So I assume you mean here, right? Function dot identity. I don't know what you mean. Is that like a thing, like a function dot it is? I don't know what this is. Oh, do you mean like a function identity? No, I don't know what you mean. Okay, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, and then the thing, kind of, what I meant for us to have is a simple inventory. Okay. And I'm gonna pass a simple inventory into here, and then this inventory is equal inventory. Now I am actually going to create this, which is going to take in fluid tank block entity, I'm actually going to do here a new predicate simple inventory, which will take in the fluid tank. Shit, that's okay. Well, it's fine. Not really a problem. That's kind of fine. So then we'll just have stack an integer. Oh no, this is just a normal. Yeah, this just needs to be predicate simple inventory dot empty fluid predicate, which will then take in a supplier of fluid tank block entity. So get fluid tank dot var, like that. There we go. Okay. And then what we need, kind of more importantly, is going to be the block pause payload, which will do this, and this, and on the client, this is just going to be a new inventory of 1. So how does this know the size? It needs to have this. It must just default to. If it's using this one, what does the size do? Oh, it would default to 0. Good job I did put in a size then, because otherwise that wouldn't work. Can probably use number double colon in value. Well, I would actually want a long value, but yeah, that would work. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, let's create this. Okay, like that. This is complaining because what does it need here? Isn't it just that actually? Yeah, it is. Okay. Ah, nose is so itchy. I don't know why. Kind of. We'll come back to that. We're gonna do player slots first, which is gonna take player inventory. I think it's 8 and 84. Yes. Thank you, Copilot. All right. So then, yeah, we really need to just add the normal slot. So we're gonna add slot, and we're gonna add a predicate slot, which will take in this dot inventory, then it will take in the index, which is 0, and it's going to take apparently 8 and 20. That's not going to be correct, but it's fine. Yeah, and the predicate, we're just going to leave it as it is. That would, and inside, which is actually not the method we want, but it's fine. We can kind of fix that later on. Okay, so quick move. We'll come back to that, and then can use. Again, this dot context player, and then block in it fluid tank. Okay. Now, quick move. Yeah, that one's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. So let's go to Industria screen handler, and basically I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in there. So slot index is going to be that. Inventory size is going to be 1 and 1. And basically that should work. I didn't mean to close that. But ah well. Yeah, I actually do need that back. Let's come back, please. Now, question. Does anyone know if you can, like, tick a green hand? I feel like that's a thing. But maybe I'm crazy. Well, I need to tick a screen handler because I need to get the fluid that's in the block entity and put it in the item, or take it out, depending on, you know, which way around you have the mode set to. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I think. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I don't know if it's like the stone cutter does it though. I don't think it does. We can have a look though. What is this? Huh. Didn't know that was a thing. Don't know what that does. Anyways. Okay, so if that doesn't work... I have a solution, but I hate it. What if... No, that's a really bad solution. Yeah, the best way is probably just to check to grab the player, check if they have the current, if they have this screen handler open, and then if they do, just do the logic, which I hate, but it should work. So if I have like a public void tick, and that's basically all I need, right? So a public void tick, and then what I can do is I can create a thing. So like maybe I've kind of just stuffed all my events in here. I don't recommend that anyone does this, by the way, but I haven't got around to rewriting that. So I think there's a player ticket events, or there is a is it server player events maybe? No, there definitely is a tick event for a player, I think. Entity tick event. I mean, I can use server tick event, but that seems I guess, I mean, that's fine, I guess, but I'd prefer, oh, okay, I guess that's the only option. When do we actually want it though? Start a world tick? End a world tick? Probably not end a world tick. Well, actually, yeah, it probably is end a world tick. Oh, end a world tick. I don't actually think it really matters though. So then what we can do is we can do world.peers or player in players. We're going to check if the player dot current screen handler is instance of. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this a little bit more generic so that I can use this in the future. And I'm going to say a tickable screen handler. I should really just call it tickable. No. Void tick. Now, if it's instance of a tickable screen handler, tickable, and I'll just do tickable.tick. And then basically all that means is that now I can just implement tickable screen handler, which I kind of hate that actually, but oh well. And then I can just override it. So, do I need to check the side? The answer to that is going to be no, because that was a server tick event, right? This is only going to run server side. So what do we need to actually do in here is the question you may have. Well, first of all, we do kind of need to do this. So we need to know that there is a block entity. So if this is equal null, return. Or this dot or it does not. Sure. I think that's probably fine. Now that I think about it, actually, this is going to take in a server player instance. Just because that might help. It might be useful to have that. And it doesn't do any harm in adding it. So or yeah, and then we can do player.world. Not in any world. That's a thing? I did not know that is a thing. Interesting. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So then what we need to do is we need to check what this is doing in terms of is extract. So if we're in extract mode, then what we want to do is we want to grab the item, right? And we want to try and actually take fluid out of that item and put it... Wait. Am I thinking of this the wrong way around? No, so extract will actually put fluid into the item. I think. Wait, I'm gonna have a look at this real quick. So if we're in extract mode... Oh. Yeah, I've done this the wrong way around. So this should be if it's not in extract mode, I think. Well, actually, I don't know. Like, which way around do I want it to be? Do I want extraction to be... Because extraction could either be... Well, the extraction is confusing because obviously it's a push-based system, right? So to say you're extracting something isn't true because you're not. So it's more about like, can you extract from this block? Or does it mean extract as in, are you extracting... Ah, God, this is so confusing. I'm getting very confused here. Okay, guys, if someone tells you that a machine, right, is in extract mode, what would you think it's doing? Right? If you have like a battery or a fluid tank, doesn't really matter, and it's in extract mode, what would you instinctively think that it does? That is my question to you. So it basically goes from itself into something else, right? Yeah, so this is then extract mode. So that was fine then. So that means that in here, if it's in extract mode, then it needs to take the fluid out and put it into the item, right? So let's do this. So we get the fluid tank. Now, if we are trying to think, if we are in extract mode, then the fluid tank needs to be not empty, right? So if fluid tank amount is greater than 0 and we are in extract mode, right, then we're going to, I don't want all of this. What I want is I want to get the stack. That's fine. Now if stack dot is empty, then we are just going to straight out just return. Then what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can find a fluid store, right? So it's storage of fluid variant, fluid storage going to be equal to fluid storage. I think there's fluid storage dot item. Yes, there you go. So fluid storage dot item dot find, which will then do that, and then container item context dot of is it a player slot? I don't really know. I think it's just a single spot, right? Or not, maybe. I think, sure, we'll just do a constant then. Okay, so if storage is null, or it does not support insertion, then we return. Okay, then we're going to get the maximum amount that we can insert. We actually don't care about that. So what we can just do is we can just try and actually this long inserted. If it's greater than 0, then we do fluid tank dot amount negative equals inserted. We commit the transaction. We update the block entity. Okay. I think that's it. Then we can return. Then we can say if we're not in extract mode, say if the fluid tank dot amount is going to be less than or equal to 0, and we're not in extract mode, then we're gonna basically do the same thing. So we're going to try and extract from so the small little problem with what Copilot's done here, so it's trying to extract long.max value, isn't what we want it to do. We want to actually say long max extract is going to be equal to math dot min between well, actually it's just going to be this, right? That's the amount that it's going to try and extract. The capacity negative the amount. So basically how much is left over, right? So if extracted is greater than 0, then we're going to add that. Now what we do need to do as well, and actually this isn't going to work because this is going to try and extract the variant, which we don't want it to do. So what we actually want it to do is use a method I've created. Can't remember what it is. Fluid variant to extract is going to be equal to transfer utils or something. I really don't. Is that actually what I called it? It is. Wow. So it's going to find first variant, and it's going to try and find that from the fluid storage, and then the variant that it will use as like a check first is going to be whatever's in the fluid tank. So fluid tank dot variant. Now why is this complaining? Because this is an option. Now I think this check first. Yeah, so this just does a blank check, so that's fine. If that didn't do a blank check, that would be a problem. But then what it can do is it can say variant to extract, but only if it's present. So if it's empty, then we're just going to return, and then we're also going to say if variant to extract dot get dot bar. Let's make that a bar. There we go. If fluid variant is blank, then we're also going to return. No way to put this into a single line. I don't think so. I was wondering if I could collapse these if statements, but I don't think I think. So we're going to then try and extract the fluid variant. Now this, so yeah, this will just return nothing basically. Okay. Sure. That should be fine. Oh, you know what I can do actually? I can filter it, right? I can filter variant, not variant is blank. And then I don't need that, right? Have I done that the right way around? Yeah, I think so. So then we do the variant, we try and extract that variant, and then the leftover amount in the fluid tank, if we have managed to extract anything, then we're going to add that here. And then what we need to do here is just set that variant as well. I don't know if we need to do that first. I'm guessing maybe. So I'll do that. Yeah, and then that should be it. I'm going to put this in an else if, just so that I can get rid of that return, because otherwise that's a little bit confusing. And I think that's actually going to be it. Clean that up a little bit. I feel like I've definitely missed something here. I don't know what. But we do have an error, which is actually the thing I literally just added, so never mind. Oh right, I see, because that's actually referencing this, which is confusing because it doesn't look like it's doing that, but it is. Okay, so I guess the next thing we need is the screen. So let's close some. We can close all of it, actually. That's fine. Okay, great. So let's come in here. Screen, create a new class. Let's call this the fluid tank screen. Extends handled screen of a fluid tank screen handler. Okay, we are going to want draw background, correct, and we're also going to want render, which will just draw mouse context, mouse X, Y. Okay, we're going to create the texture, so we'll put identifier. Texture is equal industria.id. Textures GUI container fluid tank, and then we'll just do screen equals draw texture context texture. What else does this want? I think this actually needs to take this.x, this.y, 0, 0, this.width, background width, and then this.background height. Okay. I realize we're actually probably not going to get to do a dynamic fluid tank at this rate, but oh well. Let me just rename the title to just be fluid tank. And I mean, maybe we'll see afterwards if we can do that, but I don't think we're going to have time at the current rate that we're doing things. Yeah? Things just seem to take so much longer sometimes than you would expect them to take. Because intuitively, I feel like this kind of thing is very simple, but there is just so many things you don't necessarily think about that need to be done, which is... it is what it is. I mean, I need a get block entity. Yeah. Yep. Block entity. Speaking of, actually, let's just rename this to block entity. No reason to have some weird. And then I can just do get block entity.get fluid tank. Okay, then we can supply the bounds. That's not going to be correct, but we'll stick with it for the current second. And then the pause will just be this.handler.get block entity dot get pause. I think that's actually a supplier. And then finally, we can just build. Okay. Now we are going to also need to add a button. So add drawable And we're going to add a new... now, is there a toggle? There is. Okay. Now, does this have a builder or not? It does not. Okay. So it needs X, Y, width, height, and then a boolean for whether or not it's toggle. So we're going to say this.x, width and a height, and then a boolean whether it's toggled. So the boolean by default will just be this.handler get block entity dot is extract. Now we are going to need to make a class for this, kind of as IntelliJ just did there. And I don't know what method is when it's toggled. Probably set toggle, I suspect. But like, where does that actually happen? Let's do this. Let's go to implementation. Since when does battery have a... Oh! I did not know that was a thing. Huh. Also, apparently I have to use add drawable child. I did not know that. Good to know. Because that probably would have caused me some problem. So yeah, if I go back to implement, yeah, and I'm gonna put that on my other monitor so I can like actually see what's going on. So we'll do the super, and then all it does is it does client play networking dot send, and we're gonna send a new fluid tank change extract mode payload, which is going to take in not this dot toggle thing. I don't know if super dot. The thing is, super dot on click doesn't change that. I'm a little bit confused, you know. You know why I'm confused? Because the thing is, this toggle is never set. Unless I'm completely and utterly blind, right? That toggle is never called, right? Yeah, it's not. But in fact, that has to be done manually. It's crazy. So what I actually have to do is I have to do mouse click. Like this. And then I think. Yeah, so if mouse clicked, then this not toggled is equal that. Problem being that mouse click actually calls on click. So yeah, that just sends. Oh, that's fine actually. If that sends the negative of that, okay, so that will just be what it's actually set to afterwards. Yeah, that's fine actually. Okay, so we do need to obviously create this payload. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's do network. Create a new record. Boolean extract mode. Going to implement custom payload. We're going to want the getID method, which will involve us making a ID. ID is equal a new ID. Does it just want an identifier? I don't understand what the point of the ID is. I cannot lie. It's just... What's the point of this? This is the most useless friggin' thing Mojang have ever added, I swear to God. Whatever. Anyways. So that would just return ID. And then I think I need to do that in here. Yes, I do. So payload type registry.play c to s.register. ID. Oh, we also need the codec, of course. But the codec will actually be nice and simple. Yeah, it's going to be that, which is going to be equal to packet codecs. Equal. And then that will just take in packet codecs dot bool. And it's going to be fluid tank back mode, and finally it's going to be that. Okay, why is it like that? Oh, I see, because it's doing. So if I do that, yeah, sure, that's fine. Okay, and then I just need to add a receiver. So register receiver. We're gonna go here. We're gonna add in this ID. Okay, so we have the payload, blah blah blah. If it's an instance of a... So what are we checking? So we're checking if it's an instance of a fluid tank screen handler. Then we're going to get the block entity and we're going to set the extract. That's it. That's all we need to do. Okay, the other thing that we need to actually do is when it actually changes on the client, we do need to update the screen, because otherwise we're gonna have some weird thing. I think best way to do that if I have a private, but can't be final, but if I have toggle button, okay, and I do this dot toggle button is equal that, and then if I make the screen tick, right? So if I tick here, and then I say basically set toggle will be equal to the block entity is extract mode, right? So then, yeah, what that means is that that will be fine, and that won't cause this to happen because this only happens on mouse click and on click, so that shouldn't cause a problem. Now the only important thing to do is actually to just put this in an if statement. So if this toggle button is not equal null, shouldn't be a problem, but just in case, you never know. What does this do, by the way? Interesting. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. As usual. So only other thing to do, which I almost forgot about, is that we then do need to just go into screen init and make sure I register that. So handle screen.register, screen handler type init fluid tank, which is going to be a fluid tank scene. Then we need to do the block entity renderer as well. So we're going to do block entity factories.register block entity type init dot fluid tank block entity new, and we'll create that. We can create it now, I guess. Don't do that. Nope. Create class. Renderer block. And that's just gonna extend Industria block entity renderer of a fluid tank block entity, like that. We're gonna add on render, and we're gonna add the constructor. Currently this isn't going to do anything, but that's perfectly fine. Don't need to do anything in here, do we? Don't think so. What's the chances you guys think this works, by the way? Think we can get everything working first try? That would be crazy. So in terms of the renderer, I kind of just want like a normal block texture, I think. Oh god, that was blinding. Yikes. It feels weird making this a modded entity because it is just going to be a normal block texture. But I think I am just going to actually just make it a block texture. Basically what I want is just a normal... I mean, I could technically make it, I guess, like... not exactly a full block, like more of a column, right? I could do that, right? If I did this, that looks. If I do one in, okay, let's just rename this to main. I know that that's kind of useless, but I do it anyways. And then all I actually have to do is create the texture. You ever think to yourself, God, I'm weird? What are you on about? What? I'm gonna put this in the correct folder, so fluid tank. And we're just gonna quickly go ahead and edit this texture. I'm not gonna put too much effort into it. So basically kind of what I'm thinking is simply just like this. Heat the middle like that, and then maybe just have like I don't know how this is actually going to look in game. Probably not great. Especially since that's not going to be even. If I do that, is that going to be fine? How have I managed that? Oh, because I see, because that's if I do that, okay, how can I make this even? Gonna drive me crazy. I mean, I can do this, but then I have to have a gap at the top. Unless I do this, I suppose. And even then, actually, that's just super. I could do this, but then it's uneven. So, okay, let's think about this. So this is 14 high, right? Yeah. So, if I want to make it even, I mean, I can do this. No mind, I can't do that. But then I can't do this, because then there's a 3 at the bottom. The only option I have is to make these too wide, but then that looks absolutely atrocious. Yeah, it's just a vertical rectangle. I think the only way I'm going to be able to do this is to make the model like 15 high rather than 16 high. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to fit it evenly. Like, it's just not going to work. Like, if I do this, I mean, I could make it like thinner as well, but I think this is probably fine. I don't know, maybe I want to go 1 in if I'm going to do that. That actually might be better. I'm going to try this actually. Saved that, so now in here, I am going to have to reopen that though. Good tank, here we are. So, let's first of all do the edges. And then what I can do is yeah, I can now do like that. So now that's like even. And now I just have to make it look a little bit better. So this is the hard part, right? So this actually involves some skill to make it look good. I yeah, this part is going to be the not very good part. But we'll try. Okay, I'm gonna like this. I don't know. This might be fine, I guess. Right? I think that's probably fine. And then if I just make these a little bit lighter, like, I don't know, like maybe a little bit lighter. Right. Yeah, they've got to be like lighter than this, I think, would make the most. That look fine? I actually kind of prefer how it was before. Like this. In fact, even like... There we go. And then all I have to do is boom, 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 and then the top is actually going to be kind of a pain in the butt because this will require some actual effort, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, so probably like that, and then I actually have no idea. I could just do like a... You know what I could do? I could do this. It's kind of a little bit cheaty, but like... Like that. But I'm not copying mechanism. What do you mean? I'm not even looking at mechanism. I don't know what mechanism texture look like. Like this. Oh yeah, that's not going to work actually because these are different. If you plan on making pipe inserts, when a pipe connects to something, a little pipe end appears inside the mod. I do plan on doing that kind of thing, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I will probably do that eventually, but that's going to be like quite a lot of work to do that, so... It's not like a right now thing, it's like a maybe in the future thing. By the way, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm just putting pixels in places where I think it, like, kind of works. If it does, that's great. If it doesn't, then rip. That's way too... I mean, you can probably tell I have no idea what I'm doing because I... Quite literally, I've made this way too noisy now. Ah, well, it's fine. And then I basically want the same thing here, but I do want it to obviously be darker because this is the bottom face. So I'm gonna cheat and I'm just gonna do that. Which probably won't look very good, but a little bit darker. It might be fine. There's only one way to find out, right? And I'll be able to see it in block bench immediately. Oh, that's a good point. Ooh. So the problem with this is that I'm not going to be able to see the back face, like the back faces, and I do need that. You can change that, can't you? I think there's a way to do that. I don't know. Can you do it? I thought you could select face. Oh, it's probably because I went in box UV. Made it box UV. I probably can't do it in box. How it works? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna copy the text. Delete the text. Perfect. Oh, maybe that's actually all I needed to do. Oh, that didn't. I'm sure there's a way you can like is it there? Don't know what that did. Maybe it's just a block bench thing. Maybe in the game it will be fine. That's what I'm suspecting. That in the game it'll be fine. Block bench. So let's try it. So let me save the BB model first. So this will be fluid tank. And then source, resource, assets, and models, block, fluid tank. Okay. Now, yeah. So what I'm gonna want actually is I need to go back in block class, and I actually don't want this as block entity mirror. I don't think. Though what I will need quick is in if I can find it. Yes, in here. I'm gonna want that out. So block render layer map dot instance dot put block render layer dot cutout. And then I want to put block in it fluid tank. And then in here, we're going to say entity. So actually, I'm going to just create a private final in world fluid rendering component. Fluid ring component is equal to new in world fluid rendering component, and then that will just render entity.get fluid tank. Then it's going to take in the vertices, the matrices, light, the overlay. And it's going to be the entity.world. Then it's going to be, I think, the entity.pos. And then after that, yeah, it's the X, Y, Z. Okay, let me reopen Blockbench again. Because I need to know the measurements. So, how do I... Does anyone know what the keybind is to get up the parameter? Oh, it's Control P. Never mind. So X1 is going to be 3/16, I think. Y1 is going to be 0. D1 is going to be 3/16. Then X2 is going to be 13/16. The max height is going to be 15. And then the Z2 is going to be 13/16. In theory, I think that's correct. So we'll just reorganize. And then hopefully this will all work first try. But the chances are it's not going to work. The only thing I know for a fact I haven't done is this. To do fluid storage dot hided, register for block entity, fluid tank block entity, get fluid provider, and then fluid tank. And I also just need to do the data gen. And then other than that, I'm sure I've forgotten something, but I couldn't tell you what it is. Lang as well. Just add block fluid tank. And then that. Let's do the model. Which I think I do. Yeah. Just register a state. Don't need to register obviously a model because we have a model. You turn the music down a bit? Sure. That should be better. And then recipe, once again, I'm going to come back to that. Worried about that right now. Okay, let's run data gen. Okay, do you guys think it will work? We are now about to test it. Part of me says that all of it will work. Okay, actually, you know what? There's part that I know won't work, and we'll do that real quick. And that's going to be the GUI texture, because we haven't created one. So we'll create one, and if we're lucky, we'll get everything working first try. Probably not going to happen, but you never know. So clarify is probably the best thing to go off of here, because I can just basically this, and then I can delete this, and then pretty much I just want to center this, so I'll do that. I'll select this area, X object, align objects, go both, center it. That will merge the layers, and we'll save as a tank. And then what we do need to do is just change those in, and then also handler as well. So this is going to be at 79 and 14. The width is going to be 20, and the height is going to be 46. The button, it's put it at X8 and Y8. Just see if I can find that real quick. Okay. So X8 and Y18 is here. Not sure how I feel about that. I think what I'll do is I'm just going to put it at the same Y that the food widget starts at. And also maybe make it 20 by 20, which I think is the usual size for buttons UIs. Yeah, I'll do that. Obviously, it's not going to have like a special texture or anything, given it one, but for the most part, I think that will be fine. Let's go into the and just fix the position that I've got here. So that's going to be X81 and Y60. Let me just check that this screen is also correct size, which is 176 by 170. That's not correct, is it? That's not a normal screen size, I don't think. Wait, is it? Wait, I can check actually, because I can look at the player inventory. Yeah, it isn't. I didn't think that was right. What did I say it was? 176 by 174? Is that correct? Yeah, 176 by 174. That's not... There we go. And that should be fine for that. And then now this will be fine as well, because that's in the right position. I think we're ready to test it. I really don't know if this is going to work, to be honest. Let's just run data gen again to make sure that worked. I'm not entirely confident that worked. Okay, and then let's run the client. And we're going to see if it works. Hopefully, in an ideal world, everything is going to work perfectly. But unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world, so I suspect that things are not going to go. I think we're going to very quickly see something not go to plan. Is what I suspect. Not what I hope for, but what I suspect. So I'll spare you the Minecraft windows. Let me clear my inventory. Okay. So, immediately we're going to know... Okay, this is a good start. This is actually a really good start. Okay, as suspected, the rendering isn't actually working quite how I wanted, but that's fine. Oh, we did forget the voxel shape. That's true. Yeah, we can't fix that right now, but... Okay, that's fine. Okay. Things are going actually pretty well so far. Okay, a few things. So first of all, I'm not going to do that. And I'm also going to set the list of player inventory title Y is equal background height -94. That will just put that in the right position. There you go. Better for that. There's also no button here. Okay, there is a button there. We just can't see it. I see. I suspect that's because this just doesn't have a texture. Yeah, it doesn't. Now what I can do is I can do this .toggle button .set textures. I don't know if there's like a button textures .default or something. That would be ideal. Find you. So okay, sure. Let's just use this. So pressable widget .texture. Fine. So we're gonna hotspot that. Okay, kind of. I mean, it's not perfect, but sure, that's okay. So that will at least get us kind of a button, which is all I wanted as of right now. Yeah, so we can obviously put anything in there. I know why that's happening. That's not really a problem. So let's try and put some stuff in it, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna remove this. We'll find a fluid that we have somewhere. So, I mean, I guess water is the easiest thing to go with, right? Since we have it here. Okay, so I probably need to switch modes, maybe? Interesting. It's possible that it's simply not rendering. Very interesting. Really, that's not doing anything. Is this doing anything or no? So I don't think this is actually inputting anything for whatever reason. So we actually would want it on this mode. One second. Let me just do this again. See if there actually is. Try recipe book widget got button. Which will probably actually give us the recipe book visible, but I just want something that's like visually. That doesn't really help. Doesn't. I want something that actually uses a toggle. Does anyone know of any screens that have a toggle? Actually, you know what I can do? I can just see where the toggle button is used, right? So it's used in the book button texture. Is that this one? I don't know. It doesn't ever seem to have its text changed, which is a little bit confusing. You know what I could do actually? You know what? What I could do then, I could just override render widget. I don't need to because it frankly just do anything. And I'm just gonna instead if I go into pressable actually I'm able to say yeah, that's not what I if this dot toggle, then I'm gonna do oh interesting, I see what this is. That's actually kind of smart, yeah. Okay, we can do this actually. Thank you, Copilot. That is a good idea. Instead of having all this like button texture, all we have to do, we're gonna have to restart. But we can basically open the texture. And we can just create a button here. So I'm gonna try and find the vanilla texture quick so that I can actually just grab, hopefully, the button textures. That might take me a hot minute though. Oh, these will do for now. Put this here. Oops. Put this one below it. These look so blurry, by the way. Kind of weird. I don't know why. I think it might just... And then, basically, that will just use that. And it should be fine. Might need... Oh, actually, if we're restarting the game, let's also go block back. And let's get that voxel shape done. Files, export, fabric, Industria. Okay. Yeah. Grab this, delete that, put into here, do a constant shape. I'll make this a, can I do a dot const? Fine. voxel shape. Actually, I do generally call it a voxel. I'll stick with that. Okay. Now let's try again. It will work this time. I don't know how we're gonna fix the issue with the rendering. I don't know how we're gonna fix it. I have an idea, but I hate it. I don't really want to. Okay, so currently it's locked. Let's unlock it. That's fixed the voxel shape, correct? Yes, it has. And what was the other thing we did? Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So so why is it not working? So let's just go into the renderer and plunk it. Let's go entity, wrapped fluid storage, storages, saying it is empty. Okay. That's on the client. Let's just check that on the server it's... So currently it's in it's in extract mode. Not meant to be in extract. So there we go. And let's do this. Wrap fluid storages. It's still empty. Okay. So this is so what it's checking right now is if it can insert. That should be set to true. And so we should see... Oh! Why are you here? Why are you here? That's weird. Three over 16, 3 over 16, 13 over 16. I don't need to like do this or anything, do I? I'm not sure why it's doing this actually. I mean, I can try like matrices.translate and just put it like so. Like if I do that, that puts it to here. If I do 1.5 there, right, and then do 5 there. Is that right? No, this one. Okay, that gets it in the right place. So there we go. So now you can see that's all filling up fine. Yeah, and that's drawing the top face as it should be. That's fine. Okay, and then in theory, if I switch this, it will empty it out, yeah, into there. And if I do this again, it goes back into there. So that works. Now, what won't work is if I put a bucket in there. And I know that won't work because... yeah, so you see that just kind of just drains straight into the bucket. And actually now the bucket is gone. Oh yeah, because it doesn't save it, of course. So I do need to make sure it actually drops the bucket when you close the screen. So if I do on close. Isn't there like a drop thing? No, what is it? Green? There's a way to do it. Inventory. How do you do it? How do you do it? There's a method. Oh my god. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is actually really annoying me. Is it like inventory? No, inventory is what I just looked at, right? Oh, item scatterer. No. Wait. Yes. Yes, it is. It is. Player.world. This dot block entity dot pause. And this dot inventory. This actually should probably be dot block dot. Yeah. Yeah, and then do that, that fills back up, and then this is going to start filling back up as well. Fantastic. So that all pretty much works. I mean, there's a few things obviously to iron out. But yeah, that's good. Okay. Also, this looks so goofy, by the way. I'll probably make these a little bit bigger because they're very small. And it looks very weird. But anyway. Okay, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. I think that's fine. Obviously, I'm gonna have to make an actual texture for this button. But that's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. Let's be honest. But I think honestly that's gonna be it for this stream. So it is gonna be a shorter one than usual. And we didn't get any dynamic fluid tanks done, but maybe tomorrow if I stream again tomorrow. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this stream. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in next. Goodbye.